Bro_FFB. You can find him at fantasypros.com as well if you want to find that fantasy football draft cheat sheet. Derek, thank you so much for your insight today.
Oh, thank y'all for having me. This was a blast.
Absolutely. We will certainly have you again. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Derek.
All right, there
Appreciate
he goes. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, fantasy football is right around the corner because football is right around the corner. So the drafts obviously happen in the next few weeks.
And it's one of those things where, some of our listeners out there, they don't get fantasy. Yeah. They don't like fantasy. And I understand that it literally is called fantasy. Yeah. It is an alternative reality to the reality we live in. Mm-hmm. But the two do have a lot of overlap. And I think it is important to note that if only in terms of production, those that spend every day grinding the numbers of what production could potentially be, say that Trevor Lawrence is expected to have big numbers next year. Say that, hey, maybe Evan Ingram won't see quite the same amount of catches as he did in the second half of last year should Christian Kirk be healthy. And yes, I understand some of that water is wet, but I think it's interesting, especially when you look at the context of the rest of the league. And that's where your question, Taylor, about Evan Ingram is so interesting because I think that is a larger discussion we could get into, whether it's in reality or fantasy, because that there is inevitably going to be an impact on Evan Ingram's production should Christian Kirk be healthy for a full season.
Definitely.
The betting odds, by the way, Trevor Lawrence over under 3,800 and a half yards. That half, so important. Over under for regular season passing touchdowns, 21 and a half. Seems very low to me. And then interceptions, 12 and a half. They love the halves.
Yeah, they love the halves because that's the hook.
That's
the hook. They're trying to get you there. 21
I would go over on
21 and a half for
21
touchdowns.
And a half, yeah, for the touchdowns. I would definitely go over on that. I'd probably go under on interceptions, and as far as the regular season passing yards, I'd probably go over as well. All right, when we come back, we'll talk a little college football, and then we'll get it back to the Jaguars, and we'll also talk some soccer today. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
A hot day, ice cold drinks, and smoking hot sports takes.
I like that, man. I like that.
1010XL, your summertime fun station.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
What's up? I'm Patrick Young. If you're a business owner, make your plans to attend the Florida SBDC Network Small Business Success Summit, August 19th and 20th at the Sawgrass Marriott in Ponte Vedra. You'll network with other Florida business owners, learn marketing and operational strategies. Plus, I'll deliver an inspirational keynote message. There's also a reverse trade show event where you can speak with government agencies to explore their business partnerships. Register online at floridasbdc.org, and I will see you there.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino, though, is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The live casino is so easy to use, folks. You know where you click Sportsbook at the top of the MyBookie homepage by visiting mybookie.ag? Look to the right, and you will see Live Casino 2 spots over. You will find live dealers ready to deal or spin, just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience where the action is in your hands. And yes, the rumors are true. You don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program ensuring a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win, only with MyBookie.
College football is finally here.
Yes!
SEC Football Media Days. Catch interviews with coaches and players.
We need change. I think everybody knows that.
If you miss one, you can hear it on demand at 1010XL.com. Brought to you by Instant Keys.
You could win your share of over $450,000 in cash and prizes at the 5-star Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. The fun starts July 13th with the inaugural kickoff beach tournament with a $50,000 cash first prize. There's a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the general offshore tournament winner takes home a 28T contender with twin 200 Yamahas. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher, and we grind and make sausage in-house every day.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Hey folks, it's Mike Dempsey for Pella Windows and Doors. Now you probably heard me mention that errant golf ball that led us to replace our windows. And obviously, if I'm investing in my home's appearance and comfort, I want the best. Well, now my new Pella windows are installed and they look fantastic. And we've already noticed a difference in outside noise reduction and energy savings. So if you need to replace your windows or doors, visit my friends at the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway or check them out online at PellaJacks.com. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
This is Hayes Carlyon for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
This is Dr. George Bari inviting you to look online at BariOrthopedics.com for the latest in medical advancements when it comes to getting you back to full joint health. After studying under Dr. James Andrews, I know proper diagnosis is the first key to treatment, and educating the patient is the fastest path to recovery. Whether it's chronic back pain, nagging arthritis, or necessary joint replacement, we're here to serve you in the best possible way. We are Bari Orthopedics and online at BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Taylor Dalmy, O'Brien, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. All right, a little college football talk. Ross Dellinger, I feel like, set the college football world on fire when he reported that early conversations have indicated that the Big 12 might be open for FSU and Clemson if they are able to exit the ACC. And of course, I have to emphasize the second part of that, if they are able to exit the ACC, because as of now, that has not been able to occur. But if they leave, we've all thought they would go to the two conferences that pay the most money, i.e. the Big Ten and the SEC.
They want to go there. Are those two conferences going to accept them, Lauren? Because I have reservations, and Greg Sankey has been pretty adamant of they're at 16 in the SEC, and they're okay with 16 in the SEC.
We thought if they were going to leave, the only reason you leave is to go chase more money. If you leave the ACC to go to the Big 12, that's more of a lateral move.
Yeah, and I was listening to Matt Hayes talk about this yesterday, and Matt Hayes was like, no way, they're not going to the SEC. That's never happening. Right. Big Ten, maybe, but Clemson would have to go too. There would have to be a little bit more of a overhauling. Like, apparently the Big Ten is like, maybe, but more teams would have to come. It's not going to be just for Florida State. And so he was like, so that's kind of, in the future too, because then that opens even more conversations of who's going to leave and how what the ACC would do with that and what the ACC would allow. But the thing that popped out to me when he was like, so the only one that realistically makes sense is the Big 12. And then I was like, then why? I don't.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing.
It.
No, that's why I said it, because the SEC has said we're good at 16. The Big Ten tries to hold itself to this standard of we want AAU schools, not necessarily research universities like Florida State is considered. They want those that are liberal arts, and they hit these certain thresholds with certain classifications on the educational academic side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State is not one of those schools. Clemson is not one of those schools. You want to know who is? North Carolina and the University of Virginia. Now, you may hear that and you may say, yeah, but like in football, what do those two really move the needle? It doesn't matter, because if they hit that academic threshold and they open up an entirely new television market to the Big Ten. Now, certainly with UVA, Charlottesville, not too far from the DMV, they already have Maryland. But North Carolina is one of the fastest growing states in the union. And if the Big Ten could find its way into that foothold and truly be from sea to shining sea, that's where I think there could be interest. Florida State.
Hey, we'll take these two because they fit. So also we'll take Florida State.
They fit the academic profile and they give us a new television market. No, and so I think they would only take Florida State if UVA was to say, no, we don't want to come. And so they need that extra partner because they want to keep it at an even number of teams.
Because the Big Ten is at 18 right now.
Correct. So if they were to go to 20, they would need, a North Carolina, who, of course, is also trying to get out of the grant of rights, by the way. Mm-hmm. If North Carolina was to say, yes, we will come, and the Big Ten needs that 20th team, that's where if you're Florida State and you're dying on the vine and you're throwing money and saying, we'll take a percentage cut the first X amount of years, like Nebraska didn't receive its full payment as a member of the Big Ten until 4 years into the conference that it had been in the conference. Like, I think Florida State will throw everything against the wall just to get into the Big Ten because, Lauren, to Ross Dellinger's point, the only other option they'd have then is the Big 12 because they're not going independent. That's not happening.
No. And here are the payouts for last year as far as per conference. The Big Ten paid $880 million total, the SEC, to all their teams. Rutgers and Maryland get a little bit less. The SEC is an even distribution. So that's, by the way, it's $68.5 million per Big Ten team. The SEC, $51.3 million per team. The ACC, $44.8. The Pac-12, $33.6. And the Big 12, $44.2. So what are you really gaining if you're chasing after money? And that's where FSU and Clemson are trying to get the ACC to pay them more than everybody else because of their success athletically. And at this point in time, of course, the ACC is saying no because there's only two schools that want that. Every other school is saying absolutely not.
Well, it's also essentially at this point in time, Florida State is banking on the free market. They're banking on the fact that if they can get out of the grant of rights, they won't be locked into a deal until 2036. Because as much as those numbers you just outlined, Lauren, are low right now for the Big 12 comparatively to the other two conferences, the hope is that with Brett Yormark, the businessman in the world of college football right now, with Brett Yormark now at the helm of the Big 12, resurrecting it from what many people thought was the dead 2 years ago, people thought it would be the Big 12, not the Pac-12, that would see its demise sooner rather than later.
That's why he said they were open for business.
Correct.
Get ahead of
all of a sudden, they're welcoming everybody because they recognize we're just trying to survive out here. Let's bring in as many members as possible. And so that's where, I think that if Florida State was to go to the Big 12, is it the prestige? Is it the level of competition that they sought by exiting the ACC because they wanted to get into the Big 10 or the SEC? No, it's not. But could the payday come 5-6 years from now be greater than what it is now? Absolutely, just by virtue of the burgeoning price dollar when it comes to media rights in college football and live sports. The number is always going to go up. And so the hope is that Brett Yormark will negotiate a number that makes it worth the while of Florida State to exit the ACC.
It's just so interesting to me that they're almost feel like they're getting shunned a little bit because, and I guess to your point, Mia, it's more so academically and what they provide in that realm over the athletics. Because to me, when you're talking, my mind automatically goes to just the athletic side of things, obviously, when you're adding to a conference. And you have a team that their football team should have technically been in the playoff last year. Their men's golf were runner-up. Women's golf has been in it. Baseball's in it now. The basketball a few years out, but they were in the tournament not long ago. Women's soccer was in it this season. So they have athletically all of the teams that you would want to promote in your conference. So it's interesting to me that it almost feels like they're getting pushed away by these two conferences.
Well, right now they're not a free agent. That's the other thing. Like, you can't tamper, right, with schools until, or with players too, until they enter the transfer portal, supposedly, even though we know that that happens illegally. And so right now, Florida State isn't a free agent. And so I do think someone like Greg Sankey is super smart, and he's not going to break the trust of the ACC and Jim Phillips, the commissioner, and say, "Oh yeah, come on, FSU, they have to.
We'll take you."
Right? They absolutely 100% have to get out of the ACC before that would even be a conversation. If I'm FSU, where would football only? Where would I rather go?
Oh, you'd rather go to
the SEC.
You'd rather go to the SEC.
But I think the path is harder though in the SEC than in the Big Ten.
But the money is right on par with it, and regionally, compared to what the Big Ten is going to be facing with having to find a way for your non-Olympic sport, or excuse me, your non-revenue sports, your Olympic sports, to get the tennis team from Washington to Piscataway, New Jersey for a Thursday night match. You wouldn't be faced with those sort of financial obstacles if you were to go to the SEC. It's a little bit of a lighter lift, I should say, to get your tennis team from Norman, Oklahoma to Tallahassee, Florida, than the former.
Right, but I think if I'm them, I am approaching it the same way that they approached it when they talked about potentially joining the SEC a long time ago, and they decided to go ACC because the path is easier. Like, let's be honest, you'd way rather play an ACC schedule than an SEC schedule. Billy Napier probably wouldn't be on the hot seat for some people if Florida was in the ACC versus the SEC and that daunting schedule. Your path in the Big Ten, while yes, there are some juggernauts in an Ohio State, in a Michigan, at the same time, the depth of that conference is not there like it is in the SEC.
Yeah, I don't know if they think about it that way. I think that these guys are competitors, so I think a lot of them look at it and they want, like, there's a reason they schedule certain opponents and they schedule some more difficult opponents. And when you get to choose certain things, if you were being able to choose, some may be like, hey, well, I have it easier over here. But there's some coaches, players who would be like, no, we want to play the best of the best because you're not going to become the top in the league unless you're playing the top of the league. So I think that in their mindset may be like, put us in this conference where, number one, we're playing these SEC teams, and now we're going to even be able to recruit that way. Like, you get to play against Florida and Georgia and Alabama every year, and they get to hit the portal and all of these things because now it's more attractive to be in the SEC, and they can build this better product.
It's fascinating because a few years ago, we thought it was all about, the conference expansion was all about the TV markets. We need eyeballs, right? And it doesn't seem like it has shifted that way as much. It feels like it's more, well, which conference can get which teams in order to add to their resume as far as the athletics. Like, yes, the AAU schools for the Big Ten does matter. But moreover, it does kind of feel like they're like, all right, USC, UCLA, really good at these sports. We're going to take them, right? Oregon, Washington, really good at these sports. We're going to take them.
It's all about the money, Lauren. I'm sorry. It's literally all about the money. Like, it has nothing to do with the competitive nature. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's a reason that Brett Yormark is saying to the likes of SMU, which, yes, Dallas market, but, you know, the fact that the ACC is stretching out to California now and saying, Cal, Stanford, come on down. This is solely about survival and having members and having eyeballs in some form or fashion that can translate to dollar signs.
Well, but we were told the Big Ten would go after like a Georgia Tech for the Atlanta market. Yeah. And that didn't happen.
No, instead
wanted other.
Well, instead they got Washington and Oregon, schools. And so now they've gotten a whole Pacific Northwest region of the country as opposed to just the Atlanta market. That's why. And because the Big Ten and the SEC are the bells of the ball right now, they can be selective. Don't be surprised if the Big 12 says to Georgia Tech, hey, man, how you doing? I heard the ACC's folding. Would you like to come on down? Because that's just where we're at. Those are the two popular kids' tables right now. Everybody would like to be there, but unfortunately, they're going to be a bit more selective. The Big 12, to its credit, because it was on the verge of collapse, was able to bring in these other institutions to get more money and more eyeballs, and thus is surviving comparatively to the Pac-12 that sat on its hands.
I think that when it comes to the competitive side of it, because it just so happened that all of the teams pretty much that are joining new conferences this year all ended up being pretty good last year for the most part. When it comes to Texas and Washington and Oregon, they're all teams that you were talking about being competitive. So was that a coincidence, or was it, like you said, Lauren, where they're starting to eye like, okay, these teams, they're starting to build a foundation at some of these schools, and they have coaches that we like, so let's pull them in. Oh, and there's also a benefit, we get money in this.
Yeah, no, certainly viewership and the television is always the key. I just wonder if that is connected to the competitive nature. It's not just the eyeballs in the market. It's also people watch more when the team is good, really good.
No, but I think it's the brand. It's the brand of the school. With Oregon, yes, you're getting a good football team. You're getting Phil Knight. It's just that simple.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying. I think it was a combination of a lot of things, because you're not going to just pluck some random school because they're like, hey, you have a decent amount of money. There's many factors, I think, that went into these specific schools going to each of those conferences.
Taylor has a tangent when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Painting the town teal and black. The Bold City's radio home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
This is David Lane. After suffering through several painful injuries to my shoulder, back, and knees, I've taken my issues to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and without fail, they've been a tremendous help towards solving my problems. If you have any orthopedic situations, don't procrastinate. Take action today. Give those aches and pains to the pros at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. You'll be glad you did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Let's go! Help cheer your Sharks on to victory as they battle the Green Bay Blizzards in exciting IFL football action this Saturday, July 13th, 7 o'clock in the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Now, check out our new family packs. You get 4 tickets, 4 vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift card. It's a great deal. To purchase yours or to get more information, call 904-621-0700. And ho, ho, ho! Who's ready for Christmas in July?
A little Christmas music, maestro?
Whether you're on the naughty or nice list, come out and support your Sharks. You never know, you might get a chance to say hi to Santa.
It's almost Christmas.
All we want for Christmas is a Sharks win. Check out our post-game autograph session and see if the players and dancers are asking for the same present as you.
Let's go!
Don't miss the fun and excitement of Sharks football this Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Let's go!
Let's go!
If you want to go big, you got to get low. With a low down payment and a low monthly payment during the Big One sales event at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and low payments mean big savings. And during the Big One sales event, you could buy a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla for just $1,000 down and $288 per month. Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $1,000 down and $388 per month. But this is the big one, so there's even more ways to save. Like more than 100 vehicles under $18K. Is that even possible? It is at Arlington Pre-Owned. Want big selection? Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned has over 400 used cars in stock. You even get Arlington's 60-day exchange program. That's 60 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. Don't wait. Shop the Big One sales event at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Hey, David here with Royal Pest Services. Men, are you struggling in the bedroom? Do spiders and roaches have you scared? Visit RoyalPestServices.com and let us help you get that man card back. Guaranteed results on our first visit.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
July 11, 1914, future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth makes his MLB debut as a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. Earns a 4-3 win against Cleveland.
Are you feeling the heat?
It's time to cool things down with Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Contact us today at 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Air Conditioning to keep you cool and comfortable all year round.
1010XL Weekly is out now. Mia here, and text the word weekly to subscribe to our new 1010XL newsletter and for a chance to win Jaguars and concert tickets. Get an inside look at local sports, trending players, station info, and chances to win prizes all year long.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open-air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
In case you missed it, a little over an hour ago, it was announced the Tennessee Titans are signing free agent safety Jamal Adams to a 1-year deal. Fun facts from Adam Schefter. Jamal Adams' dad played with Rand Carthon, the general manager of the Tennessee Titans' dad, with the New York Giants once upon a time. But certainly, ladies, this enhances a secondary that when we were going through so many of the rankings, and we'll do some more rankings in the 1 o'clock hour of Helmets and Heels, the Tennessee Titans secondary has gotten a lot of love, whether that was from PFF, whether that was from ESPN and the coaches and the executive survey. And now you add Jamal Adams, who certainly isn't what he once was with the New York Jets. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of Seattle Seahawks fans out there that will say it may have been one of the worst trades they've made. And look, but at the same time, he adds another veteran, well-known name to a roster, not just a defensive back room, but a roster that is accumulating, I don't want to say washed up names, but,
I was just about to say,
but names that are known in most households across the country.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I feel like they are doing a weird approach to building their roster right now. I guess they're in that, which the Jags were here, hey, let's go get a bunch of these like veteran known names that we know can at least get something done because they have experience in the NFL and hope it works, because DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley, obviously, Jamal Adams is nothing I'm really scared of. He hasn't played a full season in like 6 years, and 2018, 2019, 2020 were his best since then. It hasn't been much at all. So that's nothing I'm worried about. I think that is more of just, hey, let's get a guy in the locker room that does have experience. But I know Seattle fans were not pleased with Jamal Adams whatsoever.
So we've got Randy Moss, Julio Jones, Jamal Adams, DeAndre Hopkins. Look, the pantheon, it keeps growing.
Yeah.
We've got lunch for 2 from Chick-fil-A, right, Taylor?
We do. Let's do 641-1010, caller 4, and you get lunch for 2, lunch on the ladies for Chick-fil-A.
I love it. All right, so we'll get to your tangent a little bit later. When we come back, we have to check in with Becky Burley from Sporting Jacks. Lots of good soccer stuff going on. We'll also get to some Jaguars position group rankings. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
What's going on here? What is this?
It's 1010XL.
We can't quite understand you.
1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Enjoy the thrill of the grill at John Smith Subs, with specialty subs like the Steak Bomb, the Gator, plus a full lineup of cold and hot deli subs, including the best Cuban and Duval. Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs on Hodges and JTB.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing has the highest wind and impact ratings available? If you want a stronger roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Learn more at primeroofingfl.com. That's primeroofingfl.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
At Hodges Mazda, what Mazda moves you? Find out. Take advantage of 0% APR on our versatile lineup of 2024 Mazda crossover SUVs. Lauren Brooks here. Choose from the off-road ready 2024 Mazda CX-50, the stylish 2024 Mazda CX-30, or the tailored for you Mazda CX-5. With 0% APR for 36 months, you'll find your perfect CUV. Our professional non-commissioned sales team always puts your best interests first, and you'll get 2 years free maintenance as well. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at hodgesmazda.com. See dealer for details. Terms and fees for qualified applicants expires July 31st, 2024.
Staying active no matter what your age is key to living life at its fullest. And Rebound Rehabilitation wants you to know they can get you back up to speed and back in the game pain-free. Rebound Rehabilitation with 8 locations across the First Coast, top-of-the-line therapists ready to assist you. From neck and back pain, knee or foot pain, they can help. Excellent patient care combined with the highest quality in rehabilitation services. Look for a Rebound Rehab location near you and get back in the game. Log on, reboundrehab.com.
Thermal Engineers is hiring. Thermal Engineers is a commercial HVAC contractor serving North Florida for over 20 years. Qualified technicians and installers. How does top pay, 401k, and full benefits sound? And a signing bonus. Is it time for a positive change in your career? Join the family-oriented commercial HVAC contractor at Thermal Engineers. Call 230-1172 or go to Thermal Engineers, Inc., an equal opportunity employer.
I'm RJ Saunders with your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. For 1010XL, this update is brought to you by your First Coast Honda dealers, Jacksonville Jaguars fans, as well as Trevor Lawrence. Thoroughly pleased that the quarterback will be playing for the Teal and Black for years to come, and it was a decision that Doug Peterson says was a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, the decision was easy. You know, we all feel in the building that he's our guy, and he's obviously the face of the franchise, and he was drafted a few years ago, the first-round pick to be that guy, and we have all the confidence in the world, and we're just excited and thrilled for he and his family to get this contract behind him and just continue to build on the last 2 years.
The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp have dropped their first 2 games of a 6-game series against the Gwinnett Stripers. They look to get back on the winning side of things as they hit the diamond again in Game 3 tonight at 7:05. 88 degrees at 12:58. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
Me O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you, and we welcome in our next guest as Becky Burley joins us, former Florida women's soccer head coach, won the national championship there early on, and also now consultant for Sporting Jacks. Becky, thanks again for joining us.
Love being with you guys every time.
We love it. All right, so let's talk first about the U.S. men's national team. Fans obviously not too happy about the early exit from Copa America, and certainly that loss to Panama as far as the second game of the tournament. But then now Greg Berhalter out, so I feel like a lot of fans are happy about that.
Yeah, that seems to be the sentiment, but you just wonder, are those the loudest fans? It's always tough. I think I have a lot of empathy as a coach for coaches because so many things come down that are out of your control. So, for example, the Panama game is a perfect example of that. The red card, playing with 10, all of that. And you could argue that everything falls under the umbrella of the head coach. So did we lack discipline to get a red card? But at the same time, it's just like certain circumstances occur, decisions have to be made. We have a looming World Cup on domestic soil. We have a divided fan base. There's economic realities to that, and things happen. But I think most coaches realize if you're in the business, it's not about when you're going to get fired, it's an if.
Becky, for those who may not be following as closely, but certainly they hear from that vocal, as you noted, vocal portion of the fan base that have been anti-Greg Berhalter over the better part of the last 6 years. Walk us through, because when you look at the lineage and the history of the U.S. men's national team, in terms of how much time a coach gets versus how much time they need to develop a group of players. I feel like Bob Bradley was at the helm for seemingly most of my formative years, if not a decade, it felt like. And Greg obviously had been at the helm since 2018, even with that weird rehiring thing 2 years ago. So if you could kind of walk us through what's next from your perspective as a former collegiate coach in developing this group of players that many believe is the greatest generation of players we've seen on an American team.
Well, that last point you just made is probably another thing that plays into it. When you have those expectations, the coach needs to match, right? And there's a lot of people who think that's not the case. But I think the point you make as well, which is different, when you coach a club, you are there day to day. When you coach a national team, you are there when camps allow, when international breaks allow. It's a much more disjointed situation. And of course, you're being in contact with those players, you're monitoring those players, all of that. But in order to actually impact your culture and your style of play and all those things, it's way different than when you're day to day with a club. But I think, what is that time frame? I don't know. I mean, I wonder if the same decision would have been made if we didn't have a domestic World Cup. I wonder if the same decision wouldn't have been made if it wasn't considered the golden generation of American soccer right now. But in the end, those things all seem to be playing into it, and understandably so.
Becky, I'm sure you've heard people say this before, that if only the United States' greatest athletes focused on soccer, then the United States would be winning World Cups easily. Can you please address how that sport is a lot different than any other sport?
Well, I think there is some truth to what the type of athlete we do attract. I think the difference is we're still in progress of getting the culture of soccer here. I mean, the Euros proves that. You watch the crowds that are showing up, the way that it's ingrained in them. And not to say we don't have great crowds. I mean, we do, but the passion and the history and all of that is a little different here, and it's still evolving. So I think that there's part of it that is the DNA of a country. Our country has its huge challenges in the sense that we are we have a split national team. We have domestic players, we have international players. We have players who grew up mostly in America. We have players who've never really been that long in America. And so it is not as straightforward, I think, as people think in terms of trying to put together a team like that. If I'm the coach of Spain, Spain's a small country. It's easy to see everybody. It's easy to identify players. You might have to really work hard to develop players because you don't have the quantity of players. You can't give up on someone very easily early. Does Messi make it in our system, or do they say he's never going to be big enough? He's never going to be strong enough. But in his system, they're like, no, we're going to invest in that because we don't have, thousands of people behind him in terms of numbers of population.
Becky, kind of spinning off of that, because Sporting Jacks and the Stateside Cup had announced the youth soccer clinic that they'll be hosting. It's for boys and girls, 4 to 18. But off of that conversation you just had, things like this, these clinics that we have in leading up to an event like the Stateside Cup, how cool is that for kids to get involved at that young age of 4, but then the older kids also who get this experience to kind of learn and teach and the game of soccer as it continues to grow?
Well, I love the fact that we recruit them young, because soccer is such a great sport because you get to be active. You get to go out and do your own thing and make your own decisions. It's not really governed by coaches as much as some sports, And then I think as you get older, it's pretty cool that we can have older players exposed to different views of soccer, because that's also one of the beauties of it. And that's probably true of any sport. Like, there's a whole bunch of different ways to skin a cat. But to see different coaches emphasize different things and to kind of put those tools into your tool bag, that's what those type of clinics are all about.
So while the United States, Becky, will not be playing in the Copa America final, needless to say, there's a lot of teams that are still in contention, both in Copa America and the Euros. And Sporting Jacks excited to host some watch parties coming up.
Well, let me just tell you, if you're not watching the Euros or Copa America, in different ways, they have had so much excitement. This summer of soccer has been insane. And to be able to be a part of that with a group of people kind of all watching together and getting into it, there's nothing better. It's like last night I'm watching that game and I'm like, wow, this game has twists and turns and drama and all of this. And I'm just sitting on my couch by myself. And so I'm thinking, well, how fun would that be to be in a watch party situation? So I'm encouraging everyone to go.
Yeah, so this Sunday when you've got Spain versus England, 3 p.m. is when they kick off, and it will be at Island Wing Company here on the south side, certainly right down the street from us. So make sure people head out to that. It is free, but you must register at sportingjacks.com. And I know there's been great turnout. So if you could only watch Spain versus England or Argentina versus Colombia, Becky, which one would you watch?
Whew. That's a tough one. That's a tough choice. I have to say that I'm very entertained by Spain, and the English are always dramatic when it comes to their national team. So that game particularly excites me. But I will say, after watching last night and watching almost all of Copa America, there is some serious passion and there's some serious drama that's been going on, even with just who's available for the game, because there's been suspensions, there's been all these different, to win last night with 10 players for a half is insane. And then to have what happened after the game in terms of, fans and players in the stands, it's just what is next with that? So it's compelling watching as well.
Becky, again, we will be looking forward to those Sporting Jacks watch parties for the soccer various events that are going to be coming up. I do want to get to one off of our text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Our good friend Charles, he's one of our Heeligans. That's what we refer to our listeners as here on Helmets and Heels. And he's been keeping tabs on players being signed to USL Super League teams. That includes a former UNF standout in Thais Rice, who was just signed by Spokane. And so any updates as far as we get ready for the introduction of the women Sporting Jacks team that'll be added to the USL Super League in the next year?
Well, I can tell you this. It has been very exciting. I agree with your Heeligan in terms of watching some of the signings, because it's just very curious for the teams that aren't starting yet this year to watch how teams are building their rosters. And I had the pleasure of playing against Thais when we played at Florida, and she played at North Florida. Really talented player. Excited to see her out in Spokane. And there's just been some terrific signings all across the league, whether that's former NWSL players, international players, all sorts of different ways that people are building their roster. And I can't wait to see what that product's going to look like starting in August.
And speaking of the aforementioned Charles, he did send us a very important on this day yesterday, it was 25 years ago yesterday that the U.S. women's national team won the 1999 World Cup in front of 90,000 fans out in Pasadena. Becky, where were you, and what is your favorite memory from that 99 squad?
Oh man, the 99ers, that's just a legendary group. We had Danielle Fotopoulos that played for us at Florida, who was part of that group, and watching that 99ers documentary just floods back with all those memories. So, and I think it's so cool that they're now offering commemorative jerseys from that era. But, I think for me, the thing that sticks out, it really wasn't on the field of play. I mean, everybody can talk about the penalties and Brandy Chastain with her shirt off and all that. It was the crowd support that we had never seen anything like it before, and how mainstream it became. It wasn't just soccer people talking about soccer. And that, to me, was kind of the beginning of what we're seeing now with this surge in the growth of women's sports.
Love it. Well, Becky, we really appreciate your time today, and we will chat with you next month.
Sounds great.
All right. So again, Copa America, the finale is on Sunday, as well as the Euros. So 2 really good soccer games. Taylor, I know you'll be locked in because you're our soccer expert around here. By the way, season ticket deposits are available now for Sporting Jacks for the Jacks USL teams. $25 for the men's team or the women's team, or $40 for both. And again, sportingjacks.com. All right, let's get into some Jaguars football. Rank your confidence level in Jaguars position groups. So Taylor, do you want to start with our least confident or our most confident?
I say let's start with our most.
Most confident.
Let's
All
start
right.
positive.
I like it. We will work our way down to our least confident. So, Mia, which position group are you most confident in?
Yeah, I'm going to go with so many of the other rankings we've seen across the media landscape and say I am most confident in the Jaguars linebacker group. And that is referring to the middle linebacking contingent of Foye Oluokun, Devin Lloyd, and some variation of Chad Muma, Ventrell Miller, Caleb Johnson, whoever that third linebacker may be. I think that there's a reason that you're seeing all these national outlets give them love, because we disagree with a lot of the national rankings. But that one in particular, I do agree with. And I think if you try to dispute it, you're not looking at the facts, which is Foye Oluokun has either led the league in tackles or he has been among the league leaders in tackles for the better part of the last 4 years, coupled with Devin Lloyd, a player who I think close to home here, Jaguar fans have criticized at times the fact that he was a first-round pick, maybe hasn't performed up to expectations. But we also forget, ladies, he played with a cast for much of the middle part of last season. He probably would have had 3 more picks if not for the fact that he was largely playing with one hand. Oh, and by the way, he also missed the trip to London and missed 2 games in there. And so I would expect a healthy Devin Lloyd, who, when he came into the studio and joined XL Primetime earlier this year, as well as when we saw him during the offseason program, he has bulked up. He's taken another step. The hope is that he'll get back to a similar role to what he had at Utah, where he is able to rush the passer more. He is able to also play the mic a little bit more. He can play multiple positions at that second level. And I think you're going to see that come to fruition in Ryan Nielsen's defense.
All right, so Mia's position group she's most confident in would be linebacker. What you got, Taylor?
Yeah, so for this also, when we sent it out, we just had like offensive line, defensive line too. Let me preface that because I have defensive line as the number one. With now what we're expecting, Allen and Trayvon and Armstead and Roy Robertson Harris and a healthy Devon Hamilton, to me, that's not only the starters as being one of the better position groups, but the depth to me is most comfortable. Behind Foye and Devin Lloyd, I'm not crazy confident in the linebackers personally. I have the linebackers as 4th on my list. To me, it's that defensive line. And I said this, it was my hot take about a month ago, that I think this defensive line has the possibility of being one of the better ones in the NFL this year.
Okay, so I have it separated. I have interior defensive line and I have edge.
Okay.
Based off of how...
Yeah, I just said D-line and O-line on mine.
Okay, so I went with edge as the position group that I'm most confident in. And I think that makes sense as far as what we saw last year and what we expect this year as far as the defensive scheme changes and the growth of Trayvon Walker. Certainly Josh Hines-Allen is a guy that we now expect him. We already talked about him being one of the top 5 pass rushers in all of the league. We expect that performance again. And I do like what we at least know about Trevis Gibson. Maybe it's because he was with the Bears. And so you certainly talked highly of him, Taylor, in his transition here. But I think also he's going to be really comfortable in this scheme. And so I'm really excited / confident in the edge group. All right, number 2, Taylor, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so since you're splitting it, I'll add that, and I'll just say edge defensive line for me, because the Trayvon Josh is what I'm most confident in, but the defensive line, the interior in general, I also really like. I think that we've mentioned this a lot. Devon Hamilton, when healthy, is really, really good, and we've seen a lot from him. I personally think that Eric Armstead, he's one of the guys that I think is one of the best players on the team, even though he's new to Jacksonville, but he's just one of those guys that has the veteran leadership. I think what he's going to add into the interior is massive. And then how Roy Robertson-Harris, obviously, kind of all of these pieces to me fit so well. And so it goes beyond just those starters and it goes into the depth for me. So yeah, I would go edge, D-line interior if we're separating those two.
Sounds good.
I'm going to do it.
Are you doing it? Is yours 1-6?
No.
Oh.
Special teams.
Okay.
Yeah, they were next on mine.
They're fourth on
You got two Pro Bowl All-Pro talents, in my opinion, in Ross Matisic, Logan Cook. Logan doesn't get nearly the recognition he deserves, and the hope is that Cam Little will join their ranks and be here for years to come, and then you have your three guys for the next 5 to 10 years, locked down, good to go. I understand there will be those of you out there that say, oh my God, that's so dumb. No, it's not dumb. This team has spent the better part of the last 4 years trying to find a kicker. If you can lock in that kicker just like you locked in the punter and the long snapper 4 and 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, respectively, that's a massive win for this team.
Yeah, we all have special teams high. You have them third. Yep. I have them fourth. But I will do what I thought you were about to do, and that is say Trevor Lawrence is the player and really position group. Quarterback is the position group, but because of mainly Trevor, that I feel most confident in. I have high expectations for him, and if for some reason he has to go out, I think Mac Jones is a better backup than C.J. Beathard is. But look, Trevor Lawrence, this is his team. He just got paid. His wife's going to have a baby this year. And I think he's a guy that has always been a guy that puts in the work. But I think when his head coach called him out and said that he needs to learn more situational football, to me that was a massive thing that Doug Peterson said. And so I think that because of the type of person that Trevor is, he wants to prove his head coach that he has done that. He has put in the work. He has studied the film. And so I think Trevor is going to have a massive year. And that leads me into, by the way, my third position group, which is going to be, I'm sure, way higher for me, than most people, which is the wide receiving core. And that's what's also going to help Trevor. I'm super excited to watch the Netflix documentary Receiver that came out yesterday because I think there's going to be some really good stuff in that. But I love the addition of Brian Thomas Jr., love Gabe Davis coming here, and certainly Christian Kirk has been here. And Devin Duvernay, another guy, and I think they have depth at that position. So to me, wide receiver is number 3. After quarterback.
Okay. So, Taylor, you already gave your 3.
My 3 was special teams.
Okay. So you've got edge, defensive line,
special teams.
Special teams. Lauren has
edge, quarterback, wide receiver.
Okay.
It's a passing league. We better score some touchdowns.
I'm going to zig once again while everyone else zags, and I'm going to go with edge at 1. Or linebacker at 1, special teams at 2, tight end at 3, because not only does Luke Farrell have a great family, folks, I actually believe he's been pretty dependable, and I also happen to believe that Brenton Strange will take a big leap in year 2 because, look, they invested a second-round pick in him. He was a raw ball of clay coming out of Penn State, like so many Penn State tight ends have been outside of Mike Gesicki over the better part of the last decade. And it's on this coaching staff. Richard Angulo was able to take Evan Ingram's play to another level over the course of the past 2 years. You can say it's because of the availability of Evan Ingram compared to other receivers. Sure, great. No, the reality is he's become a better blocker. He's been able to do more than he did with the New York Giants. He barely drops the ball. And I think Brenton Strange will factor in as the Jaguars do move to playing more 12, more 13 heavy personnel in 2024.
Interesting. All right, so my number 4 is special teams.
Oh. Okay.
Your number 4?
My number 4 is Trevor Lawrence. And the quarterback, the reason I didn't have him in the next is because I think Trevor alone is great. I don't love Mac Jones. I've been vocal about that. I do not personally think Mac Jones is any better. I don't like his personality with some other things that happened of how he kind of acted this last season. So I'm not the biggest fan of Mac Jones, but because of Trevor Lawrence, I had to put him a little higher. So he's 4 on mine. The quarterback room's 4 on mine.
All right, Mia, 4.
At number 4, I put the safeties. I am higher on the safety room than evidently most national writers. But by the way, that coaches survey we've been alluding to from ESPN did have Andre Sisco as an honorable mention this morning. I believe Andre Sisco in a contract year will perform at a Pro Bowl, if not all pro level. I also like Antonio Johnson. I think he'll make a big leap in year 2 after seeing some spot duty in year 1. And I think what we're burying the lead on, ladies, is I would argue this is the deepest position room on the entire roster. You have gotten to a point where guys like Tremaine Edmonds and Trey Flowers played meaningful minutes for Ryan Nielsen up in Atlanta. Tremaine Edmonds was a starter against the Jaguars in Week 18 for the Tennessee Titans. Those guys are camp bodies now. The 2020 roster, they're making the team, no questions asked. A guy like Josh Pryor coming out of Ohio State as an undrafted free agent rookie would have made the team in 2020, no questions asked. Not in this day and age. That is as loaded a room as you're going to get between the fact that you have two stalwarts on your special teams unit in Dewey Wingard and Daniel Thomas, not to mention those two guys starting. Oh, and by the way, Darnell Savage, if only in name, is also a part of that room. And so for me, that is the fourth room.
Most confident.
Yeah, most confident in.
All right, Taylor, who do you have at number 5?
5, I have linebackers. Mia had them very high. I love Foye Oluokun. I think he is clearly one of the best linebackers in the league and isn't talked about enough nationally or by other people when you are talking about guys that lead your team in general, but also lead in tackles every single year over and over again. I like Devin Lloyd. I think we're going to see another step out of Devin Lloyd. Chad Muma, I think there's just a lot of questions, so that's why I had linebackers a little lower than Mia did. But I think at the end of the season, we could be talking differently if Devin Lloyd does take the leap that I think we do, and Chad Muma or whatever they end up doing with the Sam linebacker finds their place and it ends up performing well.
Mia, who you got at number 5?
Edge at 5.
Okay, that's kind of low.
Yeah, well, it's because what do they have? Here's the thing. Like, you've got Josh Hines Allen. You've got Trayvon Walker. I think Travis Gibson will play very well on a 1-year deal. I'm not really sure where we want to classify Eric Armstead. He'll probably rotate to that edge as well.
I have him in interior defensive line.
Right, but that and then what? And I think for me, that's where I agree that maybe you could group the two together, because I do think in this scheme with Ryan Nielsen at the helm, you will see guys rotating all along the defensive front, and I think that's a positive development for a franchise that has seen those two bookends in Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker having to play 85+% of the snaps. I just don't think it's sustainable.
Yeah.
And while Travis Gibson will be a capable third rusher, oh, and by the way, maybe you move Yasir Abdul out there as your fastball. Eric Armstead rotates outside. Roy Robertson-Harris rotates outside. I just have questions about the depth beyond those top two. But, again, if we're lumping them together and everything...
That's why I kind of put D-line
right.
at first.
And if everything I just said comes to fruition, then that changes a question mark that last year plagued the Jaguars all year long.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you my 5 and 6, because since we've already talked about both of them, I have interior defensive line at this point, number 5, and we're going again most confident to least confident as far as Jaguars positions groups are concerned, and then linebackers 6. The reason for those two being a little bit lower, Devon Hamilton, because of the illness last year, we have to see him at training camp and we have to see him healthy this year. But I'm excited about the other pieces, like we've talked about, Roy Robertson-Harris and the addition of Eric Armstead. And then linebacker, it's for the same reason you mentioned, Taylor. Foye Oluokun, if it was off middle linebacker alone, if that was a separate category, then this would have been number 1.
Yeah.
But because there are guys that are going to be expected to step up and then we just haven't seen them play in this scheme, that's the only reason I'm not as confident in linebacker. All right, now we're getting to the position groups where we're a little bit less confident.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that. I have interior defensive line at 6. I don't think it's that I'm not confident. I think it's, again, kind of just a question of how will they be used? How healthy will they be? I believe Devon Hamilton is healthy. Spoke to him in May. Sounds healthy.
But the other two were working off to the side, and Roy and Eric when we saw OTAs.
Correct. And you also have 2 rookies in Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson. Are you incorporating them somehow? What is the plan there? Who else provides depth on the interior?
Yeah, I have for 6. I have wide receivers. I think that for me, Kirk and Gabe Davis, I've been very vocal about. I love them. Brian Thomas Jr., I think we are going to see something really good at, but being a rookie and not really knowing how quickly he'll be implemented and how quickly he'll be on pace, because a lot of people I have talked to said that they think Brian Thomas Jr. will take a little bit more time to get adjusted to the NFL. And then beyond those 3, for me, it's a lot of question marks. We're talking about, a Parker Washington of you definitely want to see a lot more from him this season. Tim Jones, who's pretty much a special teams guy, possibly making your roster on the wide receiver rank. So to me, I have them that middle of the pack, but because of the top 3 for me, I put them right in the middle.
All right, we'll get to our position group 7 through 11 as far as the least confident, counting down to the least confident when we return. And we have a Taylor's Tangent. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels. This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
What part of your fire do you not understand?
The Drill.
This isn't the big leagues.
Mornings on 1010XL.
This is the big leagues.
Prosser here. As you may or may not know by now, I did the research and decided to go with Jack's Concrete Coatings for my garage floor. OMG, as the kids would say. I can't begin to tell you how good it looks, how happy we are. We brag on it anytime someone walks in the garage. They had the job finished in 1 day with a lifetime warranty. That's right. As the certified Pintech dealer for North Florida, the only company offering pure polyurea, I can't wait to do my patio deck next. Call 862-2000. That's the number, 862-2000, or jacksconcretecoatings.com.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The live casino is so easy to use. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action's in the palm of your hands and you don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. A revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win, only with MyBookie.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Mia O'Brien.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
On Helmets and Heels, noon to 2.
I swear to you, I know her.
Then there's the 1010XL video and social media channels.
I would know her voice anywhere.
All Things Mia is driven by Arlington Toyota.
On 1010XL.
Bolt City Heating and Air is here to keep you cool this summer. Anytime, any day, whenever you need fast, reliable air conditioning service. Their friendly technicians have fully stocked work vans, so they can get your AC done on site the same day. Rely on a family-owned Jacksonville-grown company this summer to keep your home cooling system working smarter, not harder. Experience the Bolt difference. Visit BoltCityAC.com to schedule your service appointment. BoltCityAC.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Pickett here. Brace for hurricane season with our friends at Rhino Shield. Their home exterior coatings withstand 96 mile-per-hour wind-driven rains, keeping your home safe and dry. Rhino Shield's advanced ceramic technology also helps keep your home cooler and reduces your energy bill. This summer, take advantage of their 30% off, 0% interest financing offer, plus a 25-year warranty. Call Rhino Shield, 414-4868. That's 414-4868 for a free estimate, or visit rhinoshieldjax.com. That's rhinoshieldjax.com.
When did Disneyland in California open? And what did it cost to build? The answer coming up.
It's always a good idea to compare homeowners' insurance rates instead of renewing year in and year out. Log on to southernoak.com and get an instant quote in minutes.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Disneyland was built in 1955, almost 70 years ago, at a cost of $17 million.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Now that's what I call high quality H2O.
If you want high quality water throughout your home, call your local water boy. We install equipment to solve any water problem. Waterboyjax.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Hodges Mazda. Why buy from Hodges Mazda at the Avenues? Because they strive to ensure a satisfying and comfortable car buying experience. That's why the sales staff doesn't work on commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interests first. Whether you're looking for a brand new Mazda or a pre-owned vehicle, Hodges Mazda has a large selection to help you choose from. And every vehicle purchased from Hodges Mazda comes with 2 years free maintenance and free car washes for life. Now that is peace of mind. So visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com.
Let's go! Help cheer your Sharks on to victory as they battle the Green Bay Blizzards in exciting IFL football action this Saturday, July 13th, 7 o'clock in the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Now, check out our new family pack. You get 4 tickets, 4 vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift card. It's a great deal. To purchase yours or to get more information, call 904-621-0700. And ho, ho, ho! Who's ready for Christmas in July?
A little Christmas music, maestro?
Whether you're on the naughty or nice list, come out and support your Sharks. You never know, you might get a chance to say hi to Santa.
It's almost Christmas.
All we want for Christmas is a Sharks win. Check out our post-game autograph session and see if the players and dancers are asking for the same present as you.
Let's go!
Don't miss the fun and excitement of Sharks football this Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 621-0700. That's 904-621-0700.
Let's go!
Let's go!
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Light up your lunch with Helmets and Heels.
Presented by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
Mio, Brian, Taylor Doll, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. All right, so we are talking Jaguars position groups, most confident to least confident. We'll recap the top 6 so far. There are 11 position groups according to how we have denoted it. Taylor, give me your 1 through 6 most confident so far.
Okay, so my 1 through 6 most confident: edge, defensive line, special teams, quarterback, linebacker, wide receiver.
Mia?
Linebacker, special teams, tight ends, safety, edge, interior defensive line.
All right. I have edge, quarterback, wide receiver, special teams, interior defensive line, and linebacker. So now 7 through 11. So again, we are going towards our least confident. So at the 7 hole, who you got, Mia?
Wide receiver. There's too many of them. 6 of them have to hit. End scene.
Taylor?
7, I have corners. Tyson Campbell, I think obviously we talk about if he is what he is pre-injury, he's one of the better corners in the league. I think there are questions behind that, and I've mentioned that there's a big shoes to fill, in my opinion, with the loss of Darius Williams. But what we've heard of what Darby can be and the expectations of everybody we've talked to of where Jarian Jones could fit in. Also, possibly if we see Savage being able to play that position too. They're not towards the top of my list, but I do have confidence that they could at least solidify a starting foundation, especially if Tyson plays how we think he can play.
Yeah, certainly a highly competitive room, that's for sure. All right, at number 7, I've got running back, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Dearness Johnson, Keelan Robinson. Obviously, high confidence in Travis Etienne. I still have high confidence in Tank Bigsby. I think this is going to be a bounce-back season for him. No one next offseason is going to be talking about whether or not he's even going to get the ball. I do think he's going to have learned from his mistakes. I think he's got a great attitude. He understands that the rookie learning curve is difficult. And, yeah, I think we're going to see him score some touchdowns this season.
I have them at 8 for running backs because I've had this conversation now with multiple people, both in and outside of the organization. You can make the argument Travis Etienne is the more electric player and Tank Bigsby is actually the better running back. You could also make the argument that Travis Etienne is the best football player on the roster right now. And that's in terms of explosive capability, in terms of sheer athleticism, and that is coming off of a Lisfranc injury in 2021. I still believe that. I believe that with a revamped running game, we can see that full potential, and he will perform much better than the somewhere between 8 and 12 ranking that pretty much he's been getting across the board.
Yeah, I have 8 tight ends. I think Evan Ingram, to the point, excuse me, of our guest earlier when we were talking about fantasy football, and I mentioned this maybe it might have been when you were out, Lauren, but when we were talking about Evan Ingram and our expectations of what he was going to do this season, I do think that burst, and when you look at his receptions and everything that happened, they drastically inclined when Christian Kirk went out. I still think he is a top tight end, like he said, top 8, 9 tight end in the league, but beyond that, a lot of question marks for me. I have at this point in time, have not a ton of confidence in Strange or Farrell whatsoever. I think they're kind of just there. And so to me, it's a whole lot of Evan Ingram, and that's about it. But I still think, to me, they're at that 8 spot. They're not at the bottom.
Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros joined us earlier.
Yes.
Is who Taylor was talking about. If you missed that, it was in the 12 o'clock hour. So for all you people who love fantasy football, definitely check that out if you missed it. At number 8, I've got safeties, and it's mainly because I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like with Antonio Johnson there, because I thought Rayshon Jenkins had a phenomenal season last year and really the last 2 seasons. And so I do expect there to be a little bit of a drop-off, and we haven't seen Antonio Johnson play safety to this point. I do have high confidence in Andre Sisco, and then the guys behind him certainly are capable backups. But because there's an unknown there, that's where I've got the safeties at 8. Number 9.
Quarterback.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you forgot.
Quarter.
Oh.
Yeah, you forgot. I didn't put him in there. Because mostly...
Someone was yelling at me for having the 4.
Right. Mostly so that when things go awry and you all start yelling at Trevor or yelling at the quarterback room, Mike McCoy's position group as a whole, I could say it's okay, I had them at 9. And that's not to say that there isn't confidence there in me. I just think that the buck stops with the quarterback, and this is a prove it to what have you done for what have you done for me lately league. And hey, Doug lit a fire under Trevor, so I'm going to do the same.
All right, that's
wild.
surprising. Yeah. All right, your
Someone
ninth
literally
group?
was just yelling at me on the text line.
Oh, I was going to say I didn't yell
Not
at you.
Somebody on the text line.
They can yell at me now. It's fine.
That's true. Her name is Mia
We're used to
O'Brien.
getting yelled at. My number 9 is running backs. I love Travis Etienne. Again, I think Tank Bigsby has the chance to really step it up this season. We talked about the fumble issue, but Etienne had the same fumble issue in his not rookie, but kind of rookie season. And so I do expect all of those things. I do think it's something they're going to work on heavily this offseason too. Hold on to the ball. And that's for everybody. We're going to see Trevor being forced to all those weird drills they do with trying to get the ball out of their hands. Everybody hold on to the ball. Don't fumble it. But yeah, so running backs at 9 for me.
All right, 9 I have cornerbacks, and it's mainly because Tyson Campbell had the injury history last season, certainly issues with the hamstring injury, and then a lot of unknown there as well. Not that I don't think it's a competitive group, like I said, it's just we don't know exactly who's going to be starting, and so therefore I can't have a lot of confidence until I see how it plays out. This group a year from now may be way higher on my list. 10th, I've got tight ends, mainly because, to Taylor's point, you've got Evan Ingram, and then you've got a couple guys where I'm just not 100% sure. Farrell's a great blocker, but can Strange get to the point where if something were to happen to Evan Ingram, this team still runs seamlessly, the offense? That I'm not sure about. Your 10th.
I guess we all have 10 the same. Oh, not 10 the same.
I
Our
think
last
we all
one
have.
the same.
That's what I would have. I told you.
Actually,
that
I'm going to take the offensive line at 10 because I want to be different, and because look, I mean that's the elephant in the room and the obvious one to put 11. But if we want to base it on players returning and continuity, you can make the argument there's no other room that has quite the familiarity with one another as the offensive line. This is largely the same crew.
Probably just the tight ends.
That came together. Yeah, right. That's the exception. Yeah. And obviously it's a smaller group, so the percentage, if we want to play numbers, there is a little bit different. But I would argue that given that almost all of this room outside of last year's first-round pick in Anton Harrison and Mitch Morse added as the starting center and then Ezra Cleveland traded for last year, the rest of this group, the core of this group, even the guys on the practice squad in the offensive line room have all been together for 2+ years now. And look, you can blame the injuries. You can blame perhaps the fact that there really wasn't a true run game like persona. Like there wasn't an identity to the run game. I don't think they ever actually like sat down and like formulated it. And I believe they have. Again, Press Taylor said they took it down to the studs, and this is going to be a different look, especially in that operation. And so, yeah, I'm going to be different and put them 10th.
All right, so who do you have as the last group then?
I have corners just because, again, Tyson coming off of injury, and it's arguably the youngest position group on the team. And that's not to say it can't end up being a strength when all is said and done. That's not to say that I'm not confident in them. I am confident in this group, probably more so than most people in the building. But it just so happens they were the last one standing, and the obvious of, hey, can Tyson bounce back, and can these young guys answer the questions of the departure of Darius Williams and the other holes that existed on this roster? There's just more questions there.
Yeah, my 10 is safety, and pretty much to what you were saying, Lauren. I love Andre Sisco, but beyond that, I think there's just a bunch of question marks. So it's another group to where they could surprise us, and Antonio Johnson does come out and play really, really well, and savage in his moments when he's playing safety. We see that. But I just think, to me, it's Andre Sisco on an island right now, and we'll see beyond that.
And then offensive line, Taylor and I both have 11th. I predicted that all three of us would have had offensive line as last.
I honestly thought you guys would have them a little higher.
Not because, for me, what they showed us last season. And obviously you expect better with Mitch Morse now, but I haven't seen it yet.
The offensive line knows I got their back. This is about defending the other position groups and creating chaos in this exercise.
Yeah, for me, I just think that, number one, you got to be on the football field. So until I can see you on the football field for a full season, I can't evaluate of what you can be for a full season. So a lot of it is just that, not being we talked about how many different players played on the offensive line and how many people had to move around. Walker Little's played pretty much everywhere because nobody can stay healthy. So until they can prove to me that they can do that, they're not going to be at the top of my list.
Agreed. All right, before we get to your tangent, Taylor, right now we have a pair of voucher tickets to go see the Jumbo Shrimp at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Call number 4 at 641-1010. Call number 4 at 641-1010. And you win those tickets. You can go see the Jumbo Shrimp anytime you want at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. All right, RJ, take it away.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
My tangent today, I'm going to continue with the Jags a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the reason I think that some people may not be taking the Jaguars as seriously, and we've had the comment of like, why are they talking about Houston so much, or why are they talking about the Colts, or why are they talking about this and that and everybody else in the division other than the Jags, and I'm going to play a clip real quick and continue on from there.
2nd down, 1. Kittle goes in motion right. Purdy under center, a 5-step drop. Now going to pump and throw down the sideline. Kittle! He's got it and he's gone! Touchdown!
Can't put a linebacker on me. I don't give a who it is. You can't put it on me. That's disrespectful.
You've got George Kittle one-on-one with a linebacker outside with a ton of area.
Easy catch, and then just toe-dragging, high-stepping all the way to the end zone.
Literally walking in the last yard.
I'll make this quick. Things like that cannot happen this season. That was the game in general. If you don't know, that was obviously the San Francisco game, that everything possibly that could go wrong went wrong in that game. But I think we get to the point where you score 9 points in week 2. You get blown out by Houston the next week. You beat a bunch of mid teams after that. Then you get absolutely embarrassed by the 49ers. This is pre all of the injury excuses, because this is pre Christian Kirk being out, pre Trevor starting to get banged up. You were, and this is why my argument had been, I still had not seen an offense that other teams were scared of last season. And even when the defense was playing good, moments like this happened where they were getting exposed in really important extreme moments. So to me, my tangent brought to you by Chick-fil-A is just more so if you want to be that team where nationally people are talking about you as being contenders, then when you're playing the good teams, you have to at least match up well with them and not make bad mistakes like that, and at least keep it close. When you're playing bad teams, you need to beat them, and pretty well. And when you're playing mid teams, you need to be able to make all of them look competitive. And I think that every team has it. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, if you go back and look at their games last year, they got blown out in like one game each. It happens. Those situations happen. You're not going to win every game, but I think that you have to be more convincing, and you have to be convincing for 17 games. Trevor has to have, we talk about 2022. The second half of the season, he was fantastic. He came back in the playoffs. And then last year, it was the first half of the season. He was fantastic, but it hasn't been a full season. It hasn't been many games where it's a full 4 quarters. So to me, for people to start taking the Jaguars seriously and Trevor Lawrence seriously, they have to put all of that together, and we need to see 17 games in 4 quarters.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Taylor. And we always reference 8-3, right? Because the Jaguars were competing on Monday Night Football for the number 1 spot in the AFC. The problem is when you look at the teams that they played against, 2 of which were in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs, the Jaguars' offense sputtered entirely. Defense played pretty well, but the offense was terrible. The 49ers also in the Super Bowl, offense was atrocious, only scored 3 points. Another team in the playoffs, the Jags against the Ravens, only scored 7 points. And
Houston the first game. When I was suffering from my ruptured appendix and the world was collapsing.
So mega bad for Lawrence. It was just so awful. Yeah, I'll never forget that game. But yeah, so there are, and obviously the next game the Jaguars played the Texans in Houston, it was very competitive, and thankfully the Texans missed the field goal and it bounced off. I know for you that was a good double doink. Yeah. Or it just hit the crossbar. But either way, it was a doink. Those games you have to look better than you did.
Yeah. The irony of the George Kittle commentary is that the defense up to that point was largely the storyline, I think, of the Jaguars 6-2 start.
So, yeah.
It was the defense that everyone was like, wow, they're really carrying them in games because the offense isn't living up to expectations. But once again, akin to the offense, maybe we can see the house of cards that was being built, the small little missteps, putting a linebacker on George Kittle as he's flexed out wide and running downfield.
All of it caught up.
Right, exactly. All those little, the fact that Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen played 85% of the snaps, little things like that. Tyson Campbell being rushed back from injury, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe those things caught up to them, and maybe this was one of those little things that went unnoticed in the moment, but then came full circle at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's why the tight end matchup is such a nightmare because, I mean, you put a corner on a guy like Kittle, he's just gonna bulldoze them, right? Like they can't keep up with him. You put a safety, well, then you're taking that safety away from other areas of the field.
Yeah.
And so
it's also the nature of facing the Niners, unfortunately. You need horses for courses.
You don't have enough people on the field to cover the 49ers offense.
The Chiefs obviously did, thanks to their defense, but that's about it. All right, we've got one segment to go here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
The coolest thing going on right now is the summer fan sale with 3 ways to save at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Browse their huge selection of high-quality fans to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Buy 1 fan, save 10%. Buy 2, save 15%. Buy 3 or more and save 20% off summer pricing on all fans. Visit their showroom near the avenues while inventory is still available and discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
When the sun goes down, you might think a golf course shuts down, but not at the Golf Club of Southampton. Join the gang every Thursday night for trivia with Brooke and Jason, and everybody's favorite night, Friday night on the patio, featuring local musicians, food, and drink. It's all at the Golf Club of Southampton. Great golf. You've come to expect that. But don't forget, when night falls, the fun doesn't stop. Trivia every Thursday night and Southampton's live music patio session Fridays. Call 287-PLAY to make a tee time and the good time.
Hey, Jaguar friends, I'm Donovan Darius, former 10-year NFL strong safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm hosting my free Tackling Technique Jaguars camp for kids ages 10 to 14 on July the 27th. This Jaguar camp will have some of my former Jaguar teammates out there coaching the kids on all the fundamentals that it takes to be a great tackler. To get involved, just go to DariusNextLevelTraining.com to sign up your kids ages 10 to 14. If you'd like to sponsor, you can go to the same website, DariusNextLevelTraining.com.
O'Reilly. You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. He thinks he knows what he's talking about. Of course. Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Mia here for my friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Folks, it is hot outside, and don't forget that Duck Duck Air Conditioning can help. They are a full-service AC company providing full system replacements and repairs to current systems. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule service right away. And of course, don't forget, Duck Duck Rooter is also a full-service plumbing and septic company that can help with clogged drains, water heater installations and repairs, sewer line replacements, septic tank pump outs, inspections, drain field installations, and oh so much more. Of course, Duck Duck Rooter is also a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480. You could win your share of over $450,000 in cash and prizes at the 5-star Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. The fun starts July 13th with the inaugural Kickoff Beach Tournament with a $50,000 cash first prize. There's a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the general offshore tournament winner takes home a 28T contender with twin 200 Yamahas. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
I'm Patrick Young, inviting you to the Florida SBDC's Network Small Business Success Summit, August 19th and 20th at the Sawgrass Marriott in Ponte Vedra. If you're ready to learn, network, and be inspired, I'll be delivering a keynote message you won't want to miss. Secure your spot today by registering at floridasbdc.org. Hey, there's no time to waste. Right now is the right time. I hope to see you at the Small Business Success Summit in August.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
I can't believe I had the quarterback position group ranked that low in our ranking of our confidence in the Jaguars position groups. I also would encourage you, although this is from yesterday, we were just looking at the stats. If you didn't get a chance to listen to Taylor's tangent yesterday about Cam Sutton's 8-game suspension for domestic violence, I would encourage you to do so. It is live on all of our 1010XL social channels because it is very, very, very much worth your time.
I will say my takeaway is that, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my top 7 position groups when we ranked them were not offense. So take that how you want it. I think the main part is that there are some things to be proven by not only some consistency to be proven by not only Trevor Lawrence, but the wide receiver group in general. And with a bunch of new guys in this wide receiver group, the timing that it takes for them to click, it's going to be really interesting but fun to watch how quickly all of this offense starts to kind of move along. And hopefully the offensive line that is last on my list proves me wrong. I really, truly hope it does, because if that's the case, then we're talking about my running back group moving up. We're talking about my wide receivers, my offensive line, and Trevor Lawrence all moving up if the offensive line can be better than what they are.
Yeah, I have Trevor Lawrence as the second most, well, really the quarterback room is the second most confident that I have for the Jaguars. But yeah, we all had offensive line either second to last or last. Last year, the national media had them 31st in all of the league. They made T-shirts. That didn't help. So maybe if they make T-shirts saying that Helmets and Heels has them either second to last or last as far as our least confident, that they will be a good
or
position
maybe put
group
it on
this
shirts
season.
where you want to be. Like, do a goal or
There
something.
you go. Manifest.
Manifest it.
Manifest.
That works. I'm off tomorrow, so I'll leave you guys with this stat. Team United States will participate, Team USA, in 31 of 32 sports in the Paris Olympics. There's one sport that the United States will not participate in.
Please tell me it's breakdancing.
It is. We are participating in breakdancing, so I cannot tell you that. Any guesses as to what sport?
Skateboarding. No, we're going to participate in that
for
too.
sure. I would have to look at the list. I don't know.
So it's handball.
Oh,
United
I don't
States
know what
has
that
not
is.
participated in handball since the 1996 Atlanta Games.
Oh, what is handball?
It's like a wall ball.
Right.
But they have goals, and so you
Yeah.
have to. to me, it kind of reminds me of lacrosse, but without the nets. And I don't think there's goalies. But either way, the good news is we have an American athlete participating in 31 out of the 32 sports, and we don't have to watch handball because we won't have to watch the Americans try and win, like they'll hopefully win everything else.
Oh, it's kind of like, what is that? Like racquetball, but with you don't have a racket, like against a wall, and then you're
but there's goals too.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
We don't watch it because there's not Americans in it. That's the bottom line. All right, that's going to do it for us today. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These Hills Are Made for Talking. We will talk to you tomorrow. XL Primetime comes up next, so don't go anywhere.
Gonna walk